Is the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 worth buying in 2022? Well, in this video, we're going to find out. Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, and this is the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. Now this device was launched in 2017, so at this point it is a bit of an older phone, but really the biggest question that I'm hoping to answer in this video is whether you should go for an older flagship device like this one that used to really be one of the best phones out there, or for the same amount of money or a similar amount of money, should you go for a brand new lower end phone? Now, of course, that really depends based on which features are most important to you, but hopefully this video will help make things a bit clearer so that you can decide which route you want to take. Now, the Note 8 was offered at a variety of different carriers and offered factory unlocked by Samsung, allowing you to use it with any carrier. And essentially, you can't buy a new one, as far as I'm aware, at this point. So if you do want to acquire a Samsung Galaxy Note 8, you're either going to have to get one used, renewed, or refurbished. So keep that in mind. And I will be linking to several different places for where you can get one in the video description below. Now with the Samsung Galaxy Note 8, we have a 6.3-inch display, so overall a pretty large display here. The display itself features Super AMOLED technology. It is a 1440p display, so extremely crisp, extremely clear. We're getting a PPI of 521, an 18.5:9 aspect ratio, so a more taller but narrow form factor, but not quite at the same level as some of the newer devices that have been launching in the last several years. And we're getting an 83.2% screen-to-body ratio. So in general, pretty small bezels, especially on the sides, but you probably noticed that we do have decently thick bezels in the bottom and top of the phone. But in general, I feel like everything looks good in proportion, and the Note 8, even at this point, still looks like a pretty modern device. That's for sure. Now you probably noticed as well that with this design, there's no hole punch for the front-facing camera, and there's also no notch to be found, but instead we do have the front-facing camera built in up above the display here. So that front-facing camera is 8 megapixels. Now with this particular version of the Samsung Galaxy Note 8, we're getting 64 gigabytes of internal storage, and about 50 of those 64 gigs are actually usable. The rest is for system software, and the phone also features SD card expansion. So if you want to put a micro SD card in the phone to expand the storage, then you certainly have the ability to do so, which is a great thing, and I know a lot of people are a big fan of. Now, this device also features wireless charging. That's something I personally use all the time. Wireless charging really is a must-have, at least for me, because, like I said, I use the feature. So obviously I'd prefer to have a phone that has it. Now, with this device, we have a fingerprint sensor on the back of the phone. We'll give that a try right now. There we go, very fast. So extremely responsive. I'm not really a big fan though of the placement. I don't like how it's essentially built into the camera module. Definitely would have preferred to have it a bit lower, kind of closer to where the Samsung logo is. And I also don't like having it here because it is pretty easy to accidentally put your finger over the actual camera lens and smudge the lens, which of course can result in you taking photos that are not quite as clear. So I do wish that that fingerprint sensor was located somewhere else different, but at the same time, I am glad that it does work very well and is fast and responsive. Now, thankfully, there are even more methods for accessing the phone. There is face unlock here with the device, which is good. And in addition to that, the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 features an iris scanner. So iris scanners are something that you cannot find with really any new smartphone nowadays. I'm not sure why they decided to move away from that. I suppose they just wanted to make bezels smaller and smaller, and part of that including less cameras and sensors and different things up top here, but essentially it does have the iris scanner, so it is yet another way to access the phone. And you can see all those various biometric settings listed here in the device settings. Now with the Samsung Galaxy Note 8, we do have a dual camera setup on the back of the phone. It is pretty similar to the Galaxy Note 9 in that regard, but essentially with this device, we're getting two 12 megapixel cameras, one of them offering telephoto abilities, which means you can zoom in, and then the other is just the main standard camera. But what's really cool is that we do have portrait mode with both the rear and front cameras on this device. And that certainly is a nice thing to have, as even now at this point, portrait mode is more popular than ever before. So that feature is certainly not a gimmick. So now that we're here in the camera app, you can see there's me right there, of course, through the front-facing camera. You can go over to selective focus to take portrait mode selfies. Here's an example of one that I just took. and the background is blurred out here, so very impressive, pretty nice to see there. Of course, we have then flipping around here, the standard camera, and then we also have that 2x optical telephoto camera, allowing us to zoom in further detail. So that is pretty nice to have as well. We can also go over to live focus to get those blurred out backgrounds using the rear facing camera. There's also a dedicated pro mode giving you a bunch of different customizations here. We can also go over to video, and you can of course do video with the rear camera or front camera. As far as rear video, here's the maximum resolution available, so 4K. And then for the front video, we do have 2560 by 1440 as the maximum front video resolution size. So in general, you have a lot of different options when it comes to taking photos and videos here with the phone. Really the biggest thing that it's lacking that we find on most modern smartphones nowadays is an ultra wide angle camera. But to my understanding, that feature isn't necessarily that important to too many people out there. I know for me personally though, I really do like having an ultra wide camera, but it really depends on if you feel like you need it or not. Of course, I don't know what situations you're using your phone's cameras for. So if you don't really care about the ultra wide camera, then I suppose that is yet another reason to consider going with the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. Now, there is some bad news about this phone, and that is the battery capacity. Now, you might be aware of what happened to the predecessor of the Samsung Galaxy Note 8, which was the Samsung Galaxy Note 7. That phone had major battery issues, actually resulting in them essentially recalling every single Note 7 that was created, and they eventually discontinued the phone completely, and then they had like a fan edition come out later based on the design. But the point is that the Note 7 was a major flop in the US, a major fail for Samsung. In fact, they had to spend quite a bit of money, as far as I know, to correct that issue. Basically, the Note 8 was kind of the revival of the Note series, and with that, they wanted to really play it safe with the battery. So this phone does have a 3,300 milliamp hour internal battery. Definitely not too big of a battery at all by any standards, let alone a phone like this where the display is massive, using quite a bit of power here. Now the good news though is that the battery capacity is not so small that the phone is unusable. But at the same time, if you are someone who really prioritizes and values getting maximum battery life out of your phone, then the Note 8 probably will leave you a bit disappointed there. So again, if you are constantly on your phone and constantly away from the ability to charge the device, then you probably should not get this phone because you're going to be stuck with a pretty small battery. Now moving on to the hardware, this phone still has very nice looking, high quality hardware, even up to modern day standards. Of course, the display is excellent. We do have a little bit of thicker bezels in the top and bottom, but again, with having such a large, clear, vibrant display, the Galaxy Note 8 really is a great phone for video consumption especially, so that's really cool. And you can see on the left side of the phone, we have volume up, volume down. There is a dedicated Bixby button as well. On the right side of the phone, we have the power button. We also have this metal band running around the sides of the phone, which is great. Definitely high quality there. And then we have glass, of course, in the front and back of the phone. Now up top here, we do have the slot for the micro SD card and SIM card, and we have the noise canceling microphone. And then on the bottom of the phone, we have the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, USB-C port for charging and data transfer. We have the microphone and speaker, and we have the S Pen, which I'll get to in a second. Now on the back of the phone, we of course have that dual camera setup. We have the fingerprint sensor, heart rate sensor. We also have a flash right there, Samsung logo, and Galaxy Note 8 branding right here. You've probably also noticed that, well, this phone does have a pretty cool color here, in my opinion. This is the Orchid Gray. I think it looks really nice. It does pick up quite a few fingerprints. That's something that, of course, you'd find with pretty much any device that has a glossy back. So that is something to keep in mind there. I am kind of more of a fan of having a matte finish on the back of whatever device I'm using. Again, I like this color, so that's good at least, but just expect to get some fingerprints here. Now, getting to the best part of the video, I'm sure you're especially looking forward to this, and that is the stylus. So the stylus does feature a pop-out, pop-in design here, definitely very intuitive. And as soon as you remove the stylus from the phone, you immediately get this screen that pops up here to write a note. So you can do some drawings. You can write, so you can do notes, doodle, anything you want to do. I mean, it's your phone. So whatever you want to do with that, you can even move down a bit to create even more space, to create more notes. And then when you're done with that, you can tap on save or discard. So in general, I'm a big fan of having the S Pen. I mean, I think it is very convenient at times where it makes sense to use. And then when you don't need it, you can stow it away. Now, the good news too is that there are quite a few first-party applications that Samsung has created that are on the device, such as a screen write feature, Smart Select. Of course, you can create a note, you can doodle a live message, but within the Google Play Store, though, you'll find all kinds of other applications that are compatible with stylus. So it is really nice that we have that full ecosystem of stylus-friendly apps, so you can really make the most out of the S Pen with your Samsung Galaxy Note 8. But this is the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, definitely give it a thumbs up and let me know what other content you'd like to see from me here on the channel. But this is Kevin here, this is the Galaxy Note 8, and I will see you in the next video.